Sea God ceremony. Knave. Facing Frost-Tide Tribe's leader's long-winded speech, Fang Yuan fell into silence, but he only fell silent for a short period before he chuckled and transmitted his voice. You think I am not aware of what you said? You think I am an inexperienced youngster? No, I understand all these tricks, clearly in fact. I know these truths and have accepted them. Fang Yuan was forced to leave King Mao Mountain, wandering about in southern border before going to western desert and then to eastern sea. He struggled at the border of death. He had to worry about 1 or 2 primeval stones. He had to bow down and grovel before the strong and this destitute life. He had also once gained a high status, listening to reports from his subordinates while drinking tea. He had been lowly. He had been glorious. He had been lofty. He had been ordinary. Considering his life on Earth and the experiences after crossing over to this world, his vision was already beyond normal people. His experiences were plentiful, and he was very knowledgeable. How could such a person not understand these worldly affairs? Frost-Tide Tribe's leader was frustrated, replying quickly, "Since you know these truths, then you should know you are taking great risks now. This is our merman internal political battle. What are you, a weak human goo master, doing by meddling? You like Han Mo? I can guarantee that after this matter is finished, I will gift you many more beautiful mermaids. Don't doubt my sincerity. I can swear an oath to the sea god. There is indeed no need to doubt the sincerity of a merman who swears an oath to the sea god. But," Fang Yuan continued, "although I accept these truths, it does not mean I like them. You think I like Han Mo? No, I only want to help her. Why am I taking such risks to help her? Because I have my own principle. Favors must be repaid. Hatred must be returned. Then saying you have lived long enough and don't want to live anymore. So be it. You were a goo immortal, but you, a mere rank 3 goo master, want to live life your own way? You are dreaming." Fang Yuan smiled. "You think becoming a goo immortal can allow people to live according to their will? Live without wearing a mask? A place with people has society and conflict. Survival and living are 2 different things. The way you want to live does not have to depend on your strength and cultivation level, but your own heart." After a brief pause, Fang Yuan continued, "Actually, low strength is also quite interesting. When you live without a mask, low strength will allow you to face more difficulties and challenges of reality. Surpass these difficulties, face these challenges, and life becomes much more wonderful." Frost-Tide Tribe's leader stood stupefied. His eyes and mouth were wide open as he was unable to say anything. His sight moved across the crowd of people, landing on Fang Yuan. He saw a slight smile. A chill rose in his heart. This person has such strange and deviant thoughts that differ from common logic. He has an inclination towards self-destruction. He has likely turned demonic. It would not matter if he did not play by the rules. The more terrifying thing was he did not think according to the rules. His thought process was completely different from ordinary people. He was already too far away from the norm. This was a demon. This is a true demon. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader felt a chill. He felt this was Fang Yuan's true nature, even though Fang Yuan did not wantonly slaughter lives, even though Fang Yuan currently still committed acts of kindness like repaying favors. Frost-Tide Tribe's leader felt a deep powerlessness at the same time. If it were an inexperienced youngster, he could have disguised himself as a senior to guide him and let him know the complexities and some dark truths of society. But Fang Yuan understood them well. He almost knew everything way too clearly. What made him even more helpless was that Fang Yuan's thoughts completely differed from others. He is too strong-minded and stubborn. He clearly only has rank 3 cultivation. How dare he? Unreasonable, a lunatic, a madman. He is too arrogant. He actually shows contempt for life and death. Right, he does not even fear death. What would he not dare to do? All the wealth, beauties, and status in the world might be useless when compared to his own true feelings. What else do I have to entice him? Frost Tide Tribe's leader was going crazy. The more he thought, the more he realized, the more he knew Fang Yuan had no fear and would not be enticed. There might be a day when he is enticed, but it would be because he himself wanted to be enticed, and it would be his genuine intention. It was not easy for people to live in this world. That was the case for mermen as well. Frost Tide Tribe's leader had high authority and status, but it was even harder for him. The elders of Merman's sacred city were pressuring him from above, while many of his subordinates were scheming against each other or coveting his position. He had a lot of children who were looking for power and authority, and there were deep conflicts between his many wives. Everything required his supervision and arrangements. Was it wrong for him to be corrupt? No. What was corruption? Corruption was no more than obtaining more benefits, and these benefits made other benefit holders feel unfair. It was similar to dividing a cake. In normal cases, you take a piece and I take a piece. Now I secretly took another piece which made you jealous. You complain, "You broke our distribution agreement. What gives you the right to take so much?" This was corruption. Did you think the Grand Elder's side, which supports the Saintess, was not corrupt? There would be more or less some corruption. Even if the Grand Elder herself was not corrupt, what about her subordinates? Her children? It was just that they were not as heavily corrupt as Frost Tide Tribe's leader. Even if the Grand Elder's side was completely free from corruption, they were still higher ups, people who enjoyed the cake, and also people who exploited others. From this aspect, everyone was an exploiter. What difference was there? They were all the same. So, Frost Tide Tribe's leader had never felt his corruption was wrong. He only wanted to obtain more wealth, beauties, and authority. As his corruption increased, he was gradually pushing beyond the distribution agreement. But he did not want to stop. The greed in him did not allow him to stop. No, it is not greed. It is my aspiration. Many times, Frost Tide Tribe's leader would shout this inwardly. There was a joke which was not a joke. The father asked his son, "What is your aspiration when you grow up?" The son replied, "I want wealth and beauties." The father slapped his son. The son replied again, "I want career and love." The father smiled and nodded his head lightly. Therefore, while career and love were aspirations, wealth and beauties were also aspirations. So, Frost Tide Tribe's leader was confident in himself. Was there anything wrong with him chasing wealth, beauties, authority, and fame? Did you think it was crude? These were all aspirations. Which person's life was not filled with such aspirations? Frost Tide Tribe's leader liked this aspiration from deep down because this aspiration spurred him on and also enticed others to pay and sacrifice for their aspirations and help him, Frost Tide Tribe's leader, to achieve his aspiration. There was nothing wrong with his corruption. This was his aspiration. Aspirations should be practical and required effort to reach. When Frost Tide Tribe's leader fell into corruption for the first time, he knew there would be a time when he would be opposed and blamed by others. But so what? These were natural and were difficulties and pains that he must experience in realizing his aspiration. As long as he passed these difficulties and subdued this suffering, Frost Tide Tribe's leader could realize his aspiration. As long as he used a series of political techniques like secret manipulation, indirect approaches, threats, and so on, he could realize his aspiration. Frost Tide Tribe's leader, who had an authoritative status for a long time, was confident in this aspect. He indeed had the capital to be confident. If not for Fang Yuan appearing out of nowhere, he would have already pushed down Zihan Mo and promoted his own pawn to the Saintess position. Once he accomplishes this, he would have defeated the Grand Elder and successfully defended the fruits of success from his corruption. He would then use the puppet Saintus to issue several policies which would be for a good future of the mermen, and also for Sacred City. He would be able to turn his corrupted history into legal events that would clear his reputation for good. At that time, who could say he was corrupted? But right when Frost Tide Tribe's leader was about to succeed, he failed. He completely failed. Because he ran into Fang Yuan. This person had no aspirations. No, that was not exactly right. Frost Tide Tribe's leader believed Fang Yuan liked wealth, beauties, power, and fame too. But he liked to live by his own feelings even more. That was his aspiration. What was the point of having such a grand aspiration? With such an aspiration, wouldn't the majority of other people end up looking crude and ordinary? He was really courting death. Frost Tide Tribe's leader gritted his teeth with hatred. This hatred was intensified because of an unknown fear in the depths of his heart. Frost Tide Tribe's leader wished he could flay Fang Yuan. He wished Fang Yuan would immediately die. But he could not do so right now, as this was the Sea God ceremony. The final song. Shihan Mo and Fang Yuan walked to the stage together. Fang Yuan played the accompaniment while Zihan Mo's song spread to the surroundings. The blue sea is laughing, the tidal waves are surging, drifting with the waves, only caring about today. Heaven laughs at this hectic mortal world. Who will win, who will lose, only heaven knows. Human lives have ups and downs like the waves, sometimes high, sometimes low. Why do we have to be always concerned about victory or defeat? The natural romanticism intoxicated the crowd. The rivers and mountains laugh, the misty rain is far away. How many great men and heroes have the tides washed away, smiling at the breeze wind, lost in quiet solitude. Heroic feelings remain, reflected in the cold night. Bold and lofty, free and unrestrained, all kinds of aspirations would be washed away by the waves. Even life itself will perish. But what is the big deal? A noble man is not a slave to external matters, aloof from the world, forgetting gains and losses. Destiny is fickle, so why uphold your disposition? Throw away your mask and find your true self. True self is unyielding. True self is lonely. Even if my life is the setting sun, I will live my own splendor. The audience was entranced. Frost Tide Tribe's leader was pale. His body shivered as he understood his loss was certain. The blue sea is laughing. The tidal waves are surging, drifting with the waves, only caring about today. Heaven laughs at this hectic mortal world. Who will win? Who will lose? Only heaven knows. The rivers and mountains laugh. The misty rain is far away. How many great men and heroes have the tides washed away? Common people laugh. There is no more loneliness. Yet the unyielding spirit in me is still laughing crazily. I struggle to survive in the mortal world. I came to life and I joined the world. I lived my own life. I lived according to my own feelings, even if the waves toss me up and down, sending me to the border of death. I will never grieve, lament, fear, or worry. I will savor these flavor thoroughly. I will still laugh crazily until the end. I am true to my nature. I am a true person. On the stage, Fang Yuan was wholeheartedly activating the goo worm with his eyes closed, the sound of the zither spreading throughout the area. Frost Tide Tribe's leader looked at him blankly, involuntarily mumbling, This demon. Zihan Mo was also entranced as she sang. She looked at Fang Yuan, an extraordinary brightness shining in her eyes as she thought, such a free and unrestrained life. Isn't this what I yearn for? Fang Yuan is able to create such a song. He has the disposition of an immortal. Back to the present. Dragon Whale Grotto Heaven, Merman Sacred City, Sea God Ceremony. Xiaolin went on stage for the third song. The blue sea is laughing, the tidal waves are surging, drifting with the waves, only caring about today. Heaven laughs at this hectic mortal world. Who will win, who will lose, only heaven knows. The entire place was shocked. Su Yi turned pale. The outcome was already certain. Xiaolin was already entranced in singing. At this moment, Master Chu's image was elevated infinitely in her heart. There was a moon and slight breeze in the background, along with faint fog. The familiar melody rang once again in Fang Yuan's ears and intertwined with his memory. He had once stood on the stage as an accompanist, closing his eyes and slightly smiling. Now he stood outside of the stage as a spectator, his eyes hiding dark light. After living for several hundred years, the vast power of time had changed him, but it also seemed like nothing had changed. He had always been Gu Yue Fang Yuan.